It's 7 AM in the morning at Stansted Airport and we're about to hurtle down the runway on yet another Ryanair flight to a city abroad for the Christmas markets. Yes, we're back in Bratislava. Oh yes! We'd booked a room at VIP Apartments, which currently from me will get 4 stars on TripAdvisor because it's got a very nice shower, although the courtyard leaves a little bit to be desired. But where bed towel folding is an absolute premium, dumped our bags and headed out to the Christmas markets. Right then, so welcome to Bratislava, the third time that I've been to this city this year. The first time I came here was to make a film about post-communism. 16,933 Soviet, Romanian and Czechoslovakian soldiers were killed during the battle. The second time that I came to Bratislava was to refilm some drone footage, and now we're actually back here just to enjoy the city, have a little walk around, have a look at the Christmas markets. So see this as your little Times with James Christmas video. Have I just said that with that face? I haven't.
Christmas!
Christmas! Oh yeah, the stuff Emily is drinking there, if anyone knows what it is, it's like a honey wine. Please tell me what it is, because it wasn't very nice and it was very strong, therefore I downed mine, which was not a good idea in hindsight. The centre of Bratislava is a lovely Baroque old town with lots of lovely cobbled streets, loads of nice shops. There must be over 100 pubs in the centre of Bratislava, and me and Bumhead seem to have found one that had the weirdest smoking laws ever. It's fine to smoke in here after 6 PM. Before that, no, it's illegal. Don't want it. This is the pub we visited. They do amazing goulash, really nice sausage as well. Enjoy dinner, Emily?
Yeah, it's lovely. Why do you do this to me?
They also do great dark beer, but they do have really, really grumpy staff. But once they've served you and grunted at you and all that, it's all right. Emily ate all of that. What a pig. Emily was scared I was going to get killed by the train. Have you ever wanted a side kebab? For the moments where you don't want a normal kebab, you don't want a middle kebab, a top kebab, but you want a side kebab. God, I could kill a side kebab right now. It said on the street board that it was about 2 degrees, but guys, it felt a lot colder than that. There was a stiff wind, and as you can see, it was snowing and sleeting, which was quite fun actually, describing to Slovak people what sleet was. And they were like, we haven't got a word for that, rainy snow. That's brilliant. And I was like, we English have got a name for every type of increment of weather ever. It's a cold old day to be filming B-roll. Coming down to SMP Square, that some of you may remember from my last film from Bratislava. Bit of history going on down here. Place here.
Do you want to go in there or do you want to carry on?
You can go in there. Which one? This one here? Okay, let's go and have a look. Come on, off you go. Take your little legs in there. Oh! Yeah. Everyone in Bratislava seems to sing with each other, even though these guys are hammered, but it even comes down to the buskers as well, and we'll look at that later in the video. Communal singing. I don't think they're drunk.
Everyone's a bit.
They're all hammered, completely hammered. The whole city's hammered. What a beautiful place. It's just all the little trees, the little lights, the atmosphere. It's a lovely little city, Bratislava. It's very nice. So we found what we think is glühwein, but it's not.
What? Red wine?
It's like turbo glühwein. They put something else in it. Oh God, that was the girl I filmed her last time I was here.
Did you?
Yeah. So on my first trip to Bratislava this year, when we were filming the communist history of Bratislava, we came across a young lady called Ira on the market square who was entertaining people with her beautiful flute playing. Honestly, Ira, if you're watching, it was humbling to see you still busking out in the freezing cold and snow, especially since you told us back then that it was your dream to play in an orchestra. Ira will feature in a future Times with James video about Bratislava that I've already filmed from the summertime, and it was crazy to see her on this cold Bratislava night, still playing her flute in the freezing cold with frozen fingers, and it was also lovely to see that she remembered us from when we'd spoken to her 8 months previously. I did pop back on another evening with my proper camera to get some proper footage of her, but by then she'd moved on. She probably saw me coming and thought I was stalking her or something like that. Anyway. We sloped around the 5 or 6 Christmas markets that were in Bratislava, mainly testing the different samples of mulled wine and weird honey wine that I'd never had before, and browsing around the stalls at all the Christmas gifts and presents, none of which I actually bought and regretted actually when we got back. It had been a long day starting at 4 in the morning, and we left the people of Bratislava to celebrate on their own, to have a quick gin and tonic, a quick 3 Hugos, and then get an early night. Because the next day we were catching the train to Vienna. Well, that was close. I had to find this little street just up here and just round the back, round the side of that sort of alcove. For those of you who watched the film in Bruges, there's a little place that I could launch there without being sort of too watched, which was nice. So we've got a nice little shot there of the morning in Bratislava. I'm now going to go and get myself a coffee. My hands are freezing. You out of bed yet? Oh dear. Oh look. We got to Bratislava station, which is honestly an ode to the old communist style of designing stations and basic designing any kind of building. Dziękuję. Thank you. So then, this train station here, the bit we're in at the moment, those frescoes were put up in 1960 to give the train station a more socialist feel, apparently. Also, the bit outside where you walk through is known as the conservatory. Typically, that was supposed to be a temporary building. Well, still out there now, full of people waiting to get the train and all that sort of stuff. So it's quite interesting that that's what they've done. They've sort of changed it, and you can really see the sort of socialist part. If you ever come to a socialist country or an ex-Russian or an ex-Soviet country, you'll notice a lot of artwork like that. People working, people happy, that sort of thing. It's very common. Oh yeah, while I was filming this, Emily was just off camera getting a bit grumpy because we were late for our train. Can't spot on to fit. Here it is. Phew, that was close. Anyway, nice hours chill out now on the train to Austria. Don't worry, you're not going to watch it for an hour. Like, we'd never do that. Here's Vienna. Welcome to Vienna, full of nutty Austrians. How dizzy are you? How dizzy do you get?
Not so much.
Is it not bad?
I haven't drank any wine.
Really? Do you want some?
No, thank you.
Sausage, you buy it. Come on. Oh, it's dirty. She is a dirty one. Everything about Vienna's Christmas market is turned up to 11. It's absolutely crazy.
Well, it's certainly Christmas in Vienna. Oh my God.
But that is a direct reflection of the architecture and the layout of the city, because Vienna is so ornate, so baroque, so beautiful, so grand. After a while, just becomes ridiculous. It's mental.
Just Christmas turned up to a fucking million. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. It's like bloody... It's like being on the set of Home Alone without the burglars.
Vienna's beauty knows no bounds, but also it's a bit overwhelming. Another thing for me as well that I think Bratislava beats Vienna on is the fact that Bratislava's got so many pubs. There's not as many old type snuggly wuggly pubs that you can go and sit in with a nice dark beer and chill out in the centre of Vienna. There's a lot more bars and restaurants, and a lot of the shops as well are definitely not there catering for people like me. I can't afford Cartier. Put it this way, most of the shops on the door had security on the door who would vet whether they let you in the shop or not. But still, Vienna's beauty and the vibrance of its Christmas markets and the people that are there really shines through. The thing is, we hadn't really planned to go to Vienna. We just thought, well, we're only an hour away on the train while we're in Bratislava. Let's jump on the train and check it out. And after about 4 or 5 hours of walking around, listening to some of the lovely street artists, it was time to get the train back to lovely little Bratislava for a couple of drinks and the last day of our trip. There are a lot of monuments around Bratislava, and I think it'd be a really good thing for the tourist board here to do some sort of find all the monuments around the city, to prompt people to walk all around it, to find all the little mini nooks and crannies, but also for them to learn about the history of the city, because of where it is on a confluence of 3 or 4 countries, as I pointed out in my last video when we were here. So it would be interesting for people to see this. Like, we're right next to this old Soviet building here. Museum's up there just behind us, yet another fresco. But it would be nice for them to do that, to prompt people to walk around the whole city and see all of it, because it is a really nice place to walk. There's lots of nice wide alleys and everything. It's really safe, and yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. It turned out to be a bright, beautiful day and perfect for us to do a little bit of shopping and also inadvertently find out about the future of Bratislava and Slovakia as a country as it still emerges and develops after communism. Bratislava has always been an important city because of where it lies on the Danube, and also because of its historical commanding position and cultural position from the time of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. For hundreds of years, the major port in Bratislava has ensured a stable economy, a wealthy population, and its position within Slovakia as the capital. But the country and Bratislava are looking to the future. Its GDP alone is 188% of the EU average, which is the 3rd highest of all regions in the EU member states. 60% of foreign investment to Slovakia as a country come to the Bratislava region, with major car manufacturers like Volkswagen and Jaguar Land Rover all moving to the area. Perhaps the most striking symbol of growth and capitalism in Bratislava is the building of the Eurovia business, retail and residential complex. The land for Eurovia was originally bought by an Irish real estate company in 2002 for 550 million Slovak korunas. It took 4 years to build and opened in 2010 at the cost of 350 million euros. And in 2014, the J&T Finance Group acquired the area for 364 million euros, becoming the largest real estate transaction in the history of Slovakia. So earlier on we were talking to the taxi driver, and he was saying that older people have a nostalgic feel towards the communist history of Bratislava and Slovakia, and in a way I find that's understandable, because you're always going to look back at your own youth, aren't you, with like rose tinted spectacles, I think. And there were good things about communism, but there were also bad things. At Bratislava now, as a city, you look behind us here, we've got, I don't know, some sort of opera house that looks like it was probably built in the mid-80s, something like that. There's the history there of Bratislava, that it is accepting, you know, it's living with that. But then modernism is happening over here as well. You've got full-on
Western capitalism happening over here at the moment, with shops like Starbucks, McDonald's, every clothes shop that you're going to get in the UK, they're all here. But also the financial centre, the massive amount of investment that's going into this city. There are cranes everywhere. Bratislava is looking to the future whilst also embracing its past. And then look at this photo. Take a look at this photo. Take a look at it. So look, you recognise that man there? Do you see him there? You recognise that building? So you're effectively standing exactly where this tank was. This tank was right here, right there like that. And that man was stood right there in front of you, just there. With that building in the background, that's from the Prague Spring, darling. There you go. So the history is still here, the old architecture is still here, but the future is happening right below our feet right now, guys. And it's also a little bit emotional, you know what I mean? It's cool. It's nice to see a city that's bringing itself up.
It's also lovely to while away the hours in such a fun, vibrant place where everyone sings along.
Bravo!
Thank you for watching this week's Times with James. I'll be back next week with some more videos for you, more bits of content, so please hit that subscribe button. If you want to visit Bratislava, I've left some booking.com links for you below, so you can actually book the exact apartment where we stayed.